energies, people, frequencies. No, there's some energies that have realized, like had noticed, not realized, had noticed that they can't get into my frequency anymore, stuff like that. Yeah, really trying to force a downturn of my frequency, all that jazz, trying to be like, they're trying to be like, or what they feel, they're trying to make it seem as if that I'm supposed to feel it too, you know, stuff like that. And if I'm not feeling it, they're trying to like, it's doing the most, it's doing the most. But basically, I have to do my hair like this because my hair is really fluffy right now. But basically, I wanted to do this reading. I didn't title it. I was supposed to title it, but oh my gosh, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of like, I don't know, entitlement energy going on. A lot of that going on. Entitlement, bitter entitlement, like false entitlement of bitterness. Like betterment is what they don't like. Yeah, that's what it is. They've confused betterment for bitterness, like stuff like that. But I'm just gonna do this reading really quickly. Yeah, there it is, Ten of Swords. I had a feeling that energy was coming through, but I'm not gonna get that Ten of Swords. Yeah, no, I'm deflecting that. Like all those 10 swords, I'm deflecting that. Yeah, because that's for the 10 of cups. Oh my gosh. 10 of cups in, yeah, exactly. It's for that narcissist. So that so those narcissists are carrying the burden of the trials that they're attempting to force on me type stuff. Yeah. That's like hell-like energy. I don't know, satanic energies. Oh my gosh, is this card deck in reverse? No. The Lord is upright. So basically it's like, yeah, it's something that they've planned coming to fail that they're not seeing. So they're not seeing their plans fail or something like that. Yeah, they're not seeing the plans fail. Their plans are failing. Yeah, the karma that's coming through, the losses that are coming through. Yeah, yeah, exactly. They're trying to put all of these things, like they're trying to form a weapon. They're trying to form some sort of dark weapon in secret. It's not working because it's being revealed right here. It's being illuminated, or yeah, it's being illuminated. Yeah, it's being illuminated. What'd you call it? It's like, oh my gosh, it's being illuminated. This is like overworking. Yeah, that's what it is. Overworking. Hold on one second, because I actually have to find a scripture about this, because I'm actually pretty tired about this. No rest for the wicked. It's some sort of wickedness. So remember when we talked about spiritual wickedness or something like that? Like we've moved on from, we've defeated the powers, we've defeated the principalities, because they're not principles, they're principalities, right? We've defeated those, right? And now is the abuse of spirit that comes about by wickedness. So that's being like defeated at this moment. Yeah, it's being defeated at this moment. Yeah. It's like, yeah, powers against rulers of darkness, of spiritual wickedness in high places. So basically against the rulers of darkness in this world. It is important to call out, he says, of this world, of this world. So not of the world, of this world. He's specifically talking about a specific world. Okay. This is quite interesting. So I've been curious about that, right? So this is what I'm saying. It's like we could be living in entirely different worlds, but the darkness, the rulers of darkness are in that world, in that one. Yeah, in that one, and specifically that one. So let's see. So Ephesians is Paul's letters in the New Testament. So Asia Minor, modern day Turkey. So Turkey. Prosecution and sufferings, beatings, imprisonment, shipwrecks, hunger, danger from both Jews and Gentiles. Court issues preaching Christ provoked hostility from religious authorities, governments, and even communities he tried to help. Rejected by his own people, rejection of oppression, false teachers and rival apostles, challenges authority, message of grace and inclusion. Yeah. Personal affliction he could not remove. God allowed him weakness, so Paul wouldn't boast. His strength had to come from God, not himself. The spiritual powers, we already defeated those. Gospel isn't just, we already did that. Quarrels, immorality, lawsuits amongst believers. Young churches struggle to live differently from surrounding culture. Burdens of the churches carry deep concern for believers' growth and stability. So growth and stability. Constant responsibility, anxiety, emotional strain from spiritual health of his community. So there was a missing. So growth and stability. Criticized for not being a real apostle. Struggled with past prosecutor Christians. Defend his calling and legitimacy against doubt. So there was a lot of narcissism around. That's what that was. Narcissism a lot around calling and legitimacy. There it is. Calling and legitimacy. So that's usually it. Flesh and spirit. That one is the result of defense. See what I'm talking about? So all of these quarrels, immorality were distractions. Okay, the church division and misconduct were all distractions. We already said against flesh and blood. We talked about that already with flesh and spirit. That's a mirroring effect. Okay. And then personal affliction, that's between him and God. I don't know what to tell you. Well, that's what you agreed on. And then rejected by his own people. That's a part of, because the others didn't want to have to deal with that same affliction. Basically, that's the rejection. Yeah, exactly. Grace and inclusion. That makes sense. You see, like, that's definitely the struggle, but that's not the challenge. But in beatings, imprisonment, shipwrecks, hunger, danger from both Jews and stuff like that, that's hostility. And then the authorities and all of that stuff were caused, like hostility within those environments were caused due to the narcissism. So the narcissism is being under judgment now, because the reality was, why would you ever try and force someone to defend themselves when you know what I mean? First of all, why would you ever have to force someone to defend themselves? Force themselves to defend themselves. You see what I mean? So it's like trying to create some sort of negative image about someone so then they can, fight themselves. Basically, that's what they were trying to do it for. So that's one thing they're guilty about, right? Is attempting to force suicide, force issuance, and of like all that jazz, right? Does the flesh versus spirit aspect of it. And then also legitimacy. Like, it's not important about what it was against or for, because that's the defense trying to play a part. But the legitimacy is like, let's see what legitimacy is about, right? Isn't it about authenticity? Yeah, intimacy as well. Intimacy is right there. Legitimacy. yeah, intimacy. So N is missing in the situation. So we're gonna find it. We're gonna find it. Sorry, y'all, give me a second. There we go. So lawful according to law, genuine, regular, lawful validity, established by law, child inheritance, being in accordance with rules, authority. Yeah, they're playing games. They're playing games. I see it. It's a Latin root. Because if it was in Turkey, then how did the Roman law enter Turkey? You know what I'm talking about? Lex, legis, yeah. Legis and gather, collect, choose, appoints. Yeah, law, what is gathered or set down for people, for the people. Written rules. Greek legend, exactly. To speak out, lay out, recount, lecture. Exactly. So they were attempting to steal lecture. Began codification with the 12 tables, 450 BCE. Remember when I mentioned BCE? Lex become technical term for law passed by the Roman people. So they were attempting to overpower lecturism. Lex legitimus by the 12 tables, 1st BCE, medieval Latin, 14th, 15th century. Yeah, 1st BCE. Then right after legitimate. So narcissists do this thing where they usually try and preempt something because they can feel like they want to extend the time, which is probably why Jesus was probably meant to be born way past that, before that. That's what I mean. But they were attempting to delay. Legenda, things to come to read. Lawful, legenda, things to be read. So that's probably what they were trying to hide as a secret. Gave legitimacy its authoritative mating, exactly, from 450 BCE onward. But during the thing, it was lexicon almost. Lex become a technical law, but it's not giving me an answer. It's running around the subject. So lex legis is law, lawful. Exactly. Statute, legal code, gather, read. Law is something collected, set down, chosen. Still running around. There we go. Yeah, so the root of legitimacy ultimately comes not from Roman law itself, but from a 3,000 Fuchsia, no! From a 3,000 year plus old Indo-European root, meaning to gather, to lay down, to speak. Exactly. To gather, to lay down, to speak, legitimacy. So they were attempting to take away, like I said before, specifically see, there it is. You see how it's like not popping up in my head? That's because they're trying to take it away. They're trying to take about lecture. Yeah, they're trying to take over lecture. They're trying to take a part of lecture. They were trying to take a part of lecture. Exactly. Lecturing would allow for one to gather, lay down, and speak, lay down. laid down, rather than it being about lying, because it's about laying down. So you see what I'm saying? So lie is mostly about dying than it is about, you know, contorting the truth in order to da 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 all that. No. Lying, yeah, this is where the confusion started. Like that's where it tried to start, where it was like people didn't know the difference between laying something down and lying something down. You see what I'm talking about now? It's like that's where they're trying to, like, they really are trying to hide that energy. They really thought that this was something that people were going to never with. And that's another thing. They wanted to take over the power to requite. Yeah. They wanted to take over the power to requite. Yeah, back again to pay, discharge, settle, make free. You see what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? They didn't want people to even know that that was a possibility, as in, like, if you were to take a loan, like, that was it. Like, you're dead now. Like, that was what it was. That's what it was all the time. It was like they were never trying to, like, they were never trying to actually let people lay their burdens. They wanted them to, like, keep stacking upon lifetimes and lifetimes. Like, it was like that. Like, it was like, yeah, exactly. There it is. Now it's escaping. That's it. Return what is due, to pay back. And then later it was like to recompense, like return in the kind, to settle back, to pay back, to make even. Like, yeah, whether with kindness or vengeance, regardless, like that's a right. They were attempting to bypass that, to make it a double standard, where it was like only they could make it seem like they could do that. But then, yeah, it's not legitimate. That's what it is. That's what's not legitimate. And I'm already bringing up the lecture, so you can see me speaking, right? You see me doing all this thing, right? So this is too late. It's already over. It's been closed out. They cannot change divine law. That's a reality. They're gonna have to go to be obliterated. They're gonna have to be obliterated, because it's not about them accepting. It's about them being obliterated. That's it. They don't want to. They don't. It's not my problem. Yeah, the ancestors are over it. The battle that these individuals are having, like those individuals are having, whatever that is like, they're frozen. Yeah, that's it. They're frozen. That's it. They've been dropped. At that point, when you're frozen and something crashes right into you, that's it. Obliterated. That's it. Yeah, they didn't think that that was possible. Yeah, that's it. That what'd you call it? What was it? That was, again, I don't even. Rulers of darkness in that world. Yeah. So they're gone. They're not in this world anymore. This world is not the same as that. And it will never be the same as that. Yeah. There it is. Yeah, that devil. Please, Holy Spirit, Heavenly Father, help me disillusion that devil. Please help me destroy that devil, Holy Spirit, Heavenly Father. Yeah, that's what it was that they were causing. See, it was something about damaging perspective to falsify authenticity. Something about that. Yeah, attempting to damage, constant damage, diminishing, attempting to make seem as if that there hadn't been a power to assist with true diminishment, right? Like, just like death, just like all, like, you know what I mean, all things that are, God creates them and creates them for good. You see what I'm saying? So it's like some devils had only existed due to the fact that they were being used for some sort of good by God. At this point, they are being ceased to exist because that they are no longer of service to God. And it's not about, like I said, they are no longer of use. They're being dismissed and diminished. So yeah, there's practical use for diminishment. So make small, lessen, reduce, right? Break into small pieces, lessen, degrade. Yeah, exactly. These are like the angels of that humiliate, right? So it's like they attempted to consume the power of humiliation, which now, yeah, exactly. Now the Lord is coming face to face with that emperor in reverse energy. Yeah, with that, what you call that? What was make itself be of spirit when it is um of darkness, attempting to falsify its position in the world, whereas that there is no necessity for their type of darkness in this world. Yeah, there's no necessity for that kind of darkness in this world. Yeah, exactly. They're being frozen. That's it. That's the freeze. They're frozen. It's like a satanic force. Exactly. So their existence coming through as if that there are that it may be some sort of spiritual, no, because they were attempting to manifest in the physical against the spiritual, when it's always the spiritual manifestation manifesting into the physical and not the other way around. As above, so below. So that's the truth about the situation. Yeah, there's the alignment is coming through now. Yeah, and Archangel Michael. Yeah, and Archangel Michael has been called. Yeah, rejecting sort of like ideology, confusion. Yeah, yeah, there it is. Like, what is it called again? Administering his sword. We'll just say like he destroyed the devil. We'll just say that because it was like a I don't know how to explain it. It's gone, diminished, you know? That's what it is. Not defeated, diminished. Okay. Yeah. The pathway is now being seen. Exactly. And a tower is coming to the veil, the false veil energy. Or the tower is here when it comes to that veil. Because, yeah, there was like insubordination. It was like people forget that back people would, like individuals who wanted to take a hold and power over other people would literally kill the person who's on the seat and then write the law however they wanted to fit their agenda, and then make everybody else try and cover it up for them, so that later on in the field, like, they forgot about that or some shit like that. Like, how could you forget that? Right? Enlightenment. Here's the enlightenment. It's like they wanted to act like that, especially in the BCEs, as if everybody was just so innocent and nice, and like everybody just was trying to do whatever, you know what I mean? Like, no. Like, we always knew that this was going to affect us. Jesus talked about it, how our past and the past of the people before us and stuff like that was going to affect us, and that's how we understood that time travel was very real, and like information can from the past can affect the future, and that the future can affect the past. For example, like, you can think that these people were so nice and they're so fucking awesome, but really what they are is old. Like, really, that's all it is. Like, you can think that they're so fucking clever and all that jazz, and like you couldn't do better, but you could have, and they could have too. But the problem was the refusal. It wasn't of acceptance. It was of darkness. It was some sort of refusal that came about by darkness. So if you think about refusal and the action of refusal, what does that mean, right? Yeah, that star is falling. So there's two ways about it. The act of throwing back, pouring back, rejecting. And then there's the act of pouring back, turning away, and rejecting. That's the one. So you got, what do you call it? To reject, repudiate. That's the one. Repudiate. Repudiate. Oh, finally. Something was really trying to block the ancestors, like sand and stuff. Yep. To cast off, put away, divorce, reject, refusal, to feel ashamed or to be ashamed. To divorce a wife, refuse an offer, reject with shame. To reject, disclaim. To cast off, refuse to acknowledge, reject as untrue or unworthy. So they were attempting to defy the power of repudiating, where it's like, yeah, isn't that what happened? Whereas like if one had to like divorce their spouse or wife or something, like for example, now if a wife were attempting to to divorce their husband or their spouse, like they were acting as if, like, it's like when you're about to get fired from a job but you quit right before. It was like that. It was like in the spiritual realm, it was already planned to be some sort of firing. But then in shame, they attempted to, you see, back in shame, back away in shame. They attempted to do that. But this is not for the individuals here in this realm. You see what I'm talking about? It's not about this world anymore. It's about that world. It's like in this world, the energy doesn't comply to that anymore. It hasn't for a very long time, right? Whether people like it or not, if a wife has divorced her spouse or her spouse has divorced her wife, it's not because of like shame or unworthiness or whatever it is, right? If someone leaves their job, right, even before that they were thinking to get fired, it's not seen as a narcissistic move. Sometimes it's strategic. Sometimes it's to hold one's own glory higher than pride. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. It's like there's legitimacy within that. You see lecture within that. But they're back then, when it comes to that world, like they're attempting to bring that world into this world when it's already been separated. And that's another thing, is like seeing their past as if it were our past when it's a dead past. There's a difference between someone, you know what I mean? It's like, for example, when a generation of history is dead, it doesn't apply to us anymore. Like in the future, there's going to be generations that aren't going to be able to apply the same laws as before because that generation has died. Like, for example, that's why you want to keep up with the Constitution, and you want people to continue passing down the values of the Constitution, because that's the only way that the laws and dictations of those laws are effective. So they wanted to repudiate the effectiveness of certain divine laws in the if that would somehow stop them from, you know what I mean? But that's why they're being punished. They can't overlap. That's the word. They can't overlap the consequences of their sin with our adaptation to overcome it. They can't do that. Like that's illegitimate. Like that's illegitimate. They're gonna try. Like that's that's where they want people to defend themselves at. But that's not gonna work anymore. We've seen what happens when we try to defend ourselves against that, and so we're not gonna agree to that. Yeah, Paul can be free from that annoyance. Yeah, there he is. In between all that jazz. In between all that jazz, there he is. So now he's being taken out of that, right, as the apostle that he really is, and because he's recognized. So we're gonna, you know what I mean, give him to God. And yeah, exactly, that's what I thought. Queen of Source energy here. Yeah, that's what I thought. Is being provided. Like, yeah, that's it. Like they keep on attempting to like degrade his glory. Like that's what it is. Like they feel that's where I said entitlement at. They feel it is their prerogative, not authority. They wouldn't know anything about authority. They feel like it is their prerogative, okay, to deny his authority. There we go. Because they don't have a job. That's what it is. They're not actually prerogative. Yeah. They don't actually have a job. They're jobless. The privilege of being asked first. Exactly. The privilege of being asked first. The right of being asked first. Exactly. They wanted to take away prerogative from others in a sip that they could monopolize that energy for themselves. And then there are some individuals here in this world who still believe that that applies to them when it doesn't. It never did, and it never could. So now it's being given to God. This is actually super important to all of us right now. All of us. So that's what's going on right now. So it's all being given to God. Prerogative is being given to God, because God is the only one that you should be asking first. Like, for real. No wonder I was getting those like really dark symbolisms. They were trying to move me in a way like, did you not understand when God said, thou shalt not touch, like, you shall not touch my anointed one? You shall not touch my anointed one. Do not touch my anointed one. Was that missed? Did you ask God if you could move me first before attempting to? Or did you try and lie and act as if that you don't know what the fuck that means? That's the reality of the situation, collective. And that's the energy you can be in, instead of acknowledging their fake ass. Yeah, exactly. They're dead past. They're dead past. Yeah, there it is. You can literally, yeah. They're attempting to make it seem as if that they don't know shit, bruh. No. Like, the answer is no. It's been no. Cycle complete. Yeah, God is going to punish them. God is going to punish them. God is literally diminishing them, like ruining them right now. God is literally obliterating them right now. God is doing it like, God is literally obliterating them right now for attempting to mirror the reality, the world, attempting to falsify an image of himself. Yeah, that's what the rule was that they broke, for real. Now it's making sense. You know, God really doesn't like it when people try and, like, when individuals try and act like they know what he looked like, and as if that they can fathom him, as if that, you know what I mean? God really don't like that assumption shit, because God can do whatever God likes. If God decides that this is not our shape and form anymore, then that's what God decides. That's really the reality of the situation. I don't really get where people are getting this lost and confused at, because they're the ones that are like lost and confused about the situation. Prerogative is being given to God. They shouldn't have done that. They shouldn't have tried to, So see, now they're being shamed. They shouldn't have tried to act as if they knew God. They shouldn't have tried to act as if that they knew what was going on in the world when it wasn't any of their right to you know what I mean? Nobody asked them, right? Especially not first. Like, they shouldn't have attempted to make it seem like they knew what was happening in somebody else's life. They shouldn't have attempted to make it seem like they knew what was going to, transpire when it comes to somebody else's destiny, when it comes to somebody else's life. They shouldn't have even started to make it seem as if that they could think in the same way somebody else could think, regardless of God at that point, right? Because they clearly weren't thinking past themselves to now start thinking as if that they were already with God. To now start thinking as if that they were thinking in the way that God was thinking about other people. Like to even think that God is the one, like, who has to think in a situation when God is the one who is the creator. Ultimately, he is the creator of thought. He is the creator of thinking. In fact, God doesn't really need your human brain to coordinate practices within the universe. And that's really what it is. It's like that idea that God has to ask them first before. No, God can do whatever God chooses to do. Now, you will never know whether or not God ever needed your consent, as if God ever had to take your consent within the situation. In fact, getting your consent within practices of God is a straight blessing. If God is asking for your consent within a situation, just know that God actually respects you in some sort of way. God doesn't actually require consent in any way, and you should be grateful that He is giving you the life that He's giving you. Because the reality of the situation is that you didn't have to be aware of any of it anyways. You could just be another fucking bot, another ant, another fucking leaf, another fucking worm. You could have been anything. But if God chose for you to be human, a human being, and then ask for your consent, I'm telling you, it's not even a formality. He's not doing it because he has to make the law, or that he has to coordinate a way. No. Yeah, that's what it is, that they really didn't like think, but yeah, that's the war that they were going through. They were trying to fight for healing. Like, let me explain to you what that means. It's not that they were trying to fight to heal, right? Like fight so that they could acquire healing, right? No, they were attempting to fight as if that they had prerogative to monopolize healing. So now you can really understand more of it. For example, let's really look up, let's say, so you have zakonist, then you have Song, then you have Seitosei, and then you have Rechtmatigkeit, and then you have Halasi, right? So you have zakonist, right? Hold on one second. So you have before, wait, hold on. Okay, here it is. Oh, geez. Okay, I'm gonna have to do it like this because the other one is like fucking irritating as hell because they're really trying to play games. Like, but here it is. So at first, the what'd you call it? Beginning of it. Oh man. I have to ask questions and these things. There we go. That's what I thought. So we got ha fa xing, xing, ha fa xing, and sheng dang xing. Right. So exactly, legalist. That's what I figured. Exactly. Sheng fa sheng dang xing. He fa xing zheng dang xing. Right? So through that, yeah, there we go. I knew it. I literally knew it. So the historical understanding of the word legitimacy has literally lost. Like the ancestors have been done. Like whatever happened there, there's no common origin. The real meaning of what legitimacy was supposed to be, remember, just like communism, just like alchemy, right? It happens to everyone, huh? Just like that, what was once is no longer. And so fa shang dang is the word for what legitimacy was supposed to be. Fa shang dang. This is because that's the only thing that's written because it came through. Yeah, it did come through just because it's younger than the original Lex. You know what I mean? Doesn't mean that it's any like just because you know what I mean? Just because you falsify a substitute for something that is gonna be true later. That's where the time travel shit. You see what I'm saying? You can attempt to falsify all you want in the past. It's not gonna get past the boundaries of truth. That's just the reality of the situation. That's just the reality of the situation. And so when it comes to Fa Zheng, right? Fa Sheng Dang, that's what's going to move forward in the future. So Fa Sheng Dang. So is the real question. So it means correctness, 正当性, upright. And there you go. They literally created a fake ass word. They literally created a fake ass motherfucking word. They shit out a fake word to make things improper, unrighteous, unfitting, indecent, like disproportionate, inappropriate, and downright disrespectful. And they were forcing people to utilize that word as if it were real, so that they can have a back door to like do whatever the hell they wanted to the law. So now it's obsolete. Yeah, there it is. So now it's obsolete. I'm not going to be using that word anymore. Proper. I'm not going to use that word anymore. Proper. Period. Yeah, period. They can't falsify. They can't create illusions around. Yeah, look at it. Look at them trying to assess. Look at that. They're trying to assess. And who gave them? See, who gave them the appropriate measure of assessment? What do they think was the appropriate measure for assessment, huh? What was the thought process behind the appropriate method for assessment? Let's look up assessment now. Yeah, the reality of that word was that it was created after. And then that's what it, these motherfuckers, man. They were fraudulently writing times in their paperwork. They would say something happened 3,000, 5,000 years ago when it actually happened after somebody else already did it, so that they can act like, well, we did it first type shit. Fuck them. If that's not a reality right there, I don't know what to tell you. That's just the reality right there. They'll really try and act like, oh, you know what I mean? Something was around, but in reality, it wasn't. It wasn't. Ain't nobody remember when that fucking happened. They didn't communicate, or what's the word? They didn't fit it into the directive of everybody else's reality. They literally they falsified a contemptuous world for people to be enslaved to. Their own mini reality in between realities. Like, that's so messed up. So assessment, to sit beside a judge, yeah, basically. Okay, at the act of sitting beside a judge to fix a tax or value, exactly. No one told them that's what it is. There is not a person in this world, who acknowledges their false assessment. And yeah, exactly. And they've been projecting at that at the collective. They've been projecting that at the collective, as if that the Lord does not sit beside God. That's what I'm trying to say. As if that they had some sort of assessment over who was and who wasn't God. That's what I'm trying to say. How long ago had that been diminished? Like, God had to send his only son here just to make sure that it was clear that he's the one that's there and not them fucking morons. Literally morons. Absolutely. Like, how many times have we been through that? They thought that they could do the same thing here. Like, bro, this is not the time for that. Boop, wrong time. Wrong timeline, bro. That is wrong. The wrong is wrong. Yeah. Knight of Wands in reverse with the sun in reverse. Yeah. Like, yeah, there it is. It's like being seen. Like, they're really being seen for the morons that they are. Like, that's what you wanted to idolize. Like, they wanted to make it seem as if that they could be like idols in the future. That's why they did it. That's why they did it. That's why they did what they did. Because they were attempting to incur idolatry. That's it. They were attempting to incur idolatry. There it is. They were attempting to incur idolatry. That's it. I'm saying, like, yeah, like the card is everywhere. Like, they were really attempting to incur idolatry. Yeah, there's some dead, yeah, energy, and it's over. There's no word from them. See? There's no promise from them. And that's something that they also attempted to abuse. Like, bro, what? It's like, because they never made any promise. There's another thing. It's like when someone doesn't promise you something, but they make it seem like as if that they did, so that you feel as if that they had some sort of like, you know what I mean? Like they want to make it seem like you would have this is the assumption, right? As if that you would have retrospectively entrusted them with something that you knew not to entrust them with, when in reality you collective probably and most likely did not trust the motherfucker, because you did not entrust them with something that they had attempted to assume over you. You see what I'm saying? Like they wanted so badly to make it seem as if that they had some sort of power of assessment. I'm telling you, they wanted to act like they wanted, but that's the reality. Like, fuck what they want. They had no grace. They had no grace. God did not give them grace. They weren't graced with the benefactor energy. They weren't graced with benefactorism. They weren't graced with benefactorment. Yeah. They weren't graced with benefactorment. That's it. There it is. There's the actual energy that they were attempting to hide and collect and like switch over to cause me damage and to cause all sorts of damages. That's what it is. Like overcoming them was supposed to be for them to act as if that it was they're gonna be for them kind of reward. That's some bullshit right there. Yeah, exactly. My goodness. It's a whole dark ass family. Yeah. That were attempting to take away prosperity due to them not being graced. Exactly. They were never graced. That became our prosperity. We got proof, evidence, and what? We got proof, evidence, and decency from that. We received proof, evidence, and decency from that. You see how it changes things? They wanted to, like, I don't know, they literally attempted to cover up proprietorship. Like, I can't make this up. All in all, trying to cover it all in that word, in that false out word. Justice, proprietorship, within justice, decency in correctness, making it seem as if the grace had no sort of value type stuff. Like, that was wild. They didn't see the value in grace because they never had it. They never had grace. It's not as if that they were living in disgrace. That would have still gave them an idea of what grace was. It was that they never knew what that was in general. They never saw it. They never saw the opposite of it. Yeah, exactly. The reality is that they never were meant to receive some sort of proprietorship. It was never for them to remember when I just told you that God created, like they no longer served some sort of, they no longer served God in the way that they were. So they were deleted, you could say. Like that is one of the things that I try to explain to people who follow me, is that why gratitude is so important in this world. And it's because God really does that. God can create something that is meant, like, what is that called? Mr. Meeseeks ass. Mr. Meeseeks kind of energy. They don't actually have any kind of authority over a role. Like an actual non-player, like a non-player character, or like what are the characters called? Like, because we've been saying non-player character NPC for a while now, but it's been like twisting and turning its meaning. In reality, it's like a bot character, like a bot character, like a non-playable character. That's what I'm trying to say. Or no, that's what we were trying to mention before. Instead of non-player character, it's non-playable character. That's what it is. See, non-playable character. Through a expendable NPC. A red shirt. Quest trigger. A disposable quest giver or throwaway NPC red shirt. That's what I'm talking about. It's like a red shirt. Like a throwaway NPC. The only reason that they're what you call it there is to do that, and that's it. However, they're not like, it's like someone had falsified an input code of some sort of virus within a throwaway NPC. All in all, to make a backdoor for them to falsify an encryption of a code within divine script. And that's why it like had even seemed so demonic. Yeah, exactly. 10 of Pentacles in reverse. The reality of the situation is that they wouldn't have had anything to lose. There wasn't anything to be gained. There's no lore. Like, if you don't know what that means, okay? It means that they have no lore, right? They're not even really a real archetype, but that's the archetype, then vanishes or dies, literally, with no lore, no development, no real presence. Like, God wouldn't give a throwaway NPC character any kind of lore, development, or purpose. Yeah, often static, one-dimensional, no dialogue beyond the task. Killed, disappears, or never reappears. Yeah. More like a button disguised as a character. Exactly. You see what I'm saying? Borrowed term for a character introduced just to die quickly and serve the plot. You see what I mean? Once they no longer serve the plot, that's it. Die quickly. Side quest NPC who meet their end immediately after you talk to them. You see what I'm saying? Trigger object for a quest with no narrative depth. Everything has a purpose in this world, but we don't control how long that they have purpose. Everything in this world serves God, but we don't control how long, how short, when, and how they serve God. Someone thought that they had prerogative over that concept, which is with God. Yeah, someone really, yeah, there it is. Illumination now in reverse, because it's being, the data is being given to God now. It's not, yeah, because AD is conceptual understandings. Yeah, there it is. It's being given to God. Because whatever that strength is in reverse, right? That energy that they were projecting at, what you call that, dark delivery energy that they were, yeah, dark delivery. Whatever dark delivery it is that they were projecting at prerogative to make it seem as if that that they had control over it somehow, yeah, it's being diminished. It's being diminished. Like, since they didn't understand the accuracy of God's concepts, they are being used within the same structure. Like, for example, it's like when it's like let's say I get raped, right? God forbid. Imagine like I got raped, right? That's better. I had been raped before by someone who had seemed like they had an important position in power, or in, like, I don't know, somewhere like out there, like they seemed like they had some sort of ranking, like this is in the past, right? And so now someone finds out that I had been raped, but instead of them like being like, dang, like that really sucks and da da da, what can I learn from that? They decide to now try and get jealous of me and try to cause me to fail in life and everything like that, because they want to covet, because they want to make it seem as if that I had been so lucky to get raped by someone so important type shit, according to them, idolatry, right? So God now puts them in a position where they're raped by someone who's useless, worthless, and all that jazz, right? And then also someone who's of high importance, da 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 da, da, and gets nothing out of it, right? Excuse me. But that's kind of the scenario. And then, like, if they still don't understand how serious and negating that is to someone's self-worth, and how I've overcome that, and how I've done what it is that I was supposed to make sure that that didn't affect me, and how it was effective for God, that I overcome that, and how I was able to also understand that that's not something that God would ever do to his children, right? Then they lose social standing, never get to go, like a lot of shit just starts happening to them, right? So that they can like fuck off somewhere, since they don't want to learn the truth, right? This is kind of that energy. Yeah, judgment is being called on them like heavy, because like they had a purpose, they had vision, they had things to do, things to be, places to be, all that jazz. They had that, but they attempted to create some sort of, or falsify some sort of backdoor and do all that, trying to make seem like, yeah, they were, it's like them trying to get jealous at a Mr. Meeseeks energy, but that's not even like touching on the subject. It's like them attempting to create an idol out of a Mr. Meeseeks type of energy, so that then people and angels would uphold that Mr. Meeseeks kind of energy. So to make it seem as if that when it would be their turn, because you see what I'm talking about now? Like I said, this is self-prophesy. That's the self-prophesying energy. There it is right there. And it's when somebody feels like, that's the narcissism, right? Because when you manifest, right, it kind of works kind of like a self-prophecy, right? Because it's whatever you're putting out there that's coming back to you. So they want to make it seem as if that they put something out there and they knew that it was going to happen. And so then they attempted to make it seem like they were going to protect themselves from it, from the same thing that they already were now manifesting, because that they had already attempted to make it seem like it was going to happen to them. But all of it is against divine order. It's not God's plan for that to happen. They literally made themselves a snake so that they could bite their own tail, and then act as if that they could stop themselves from biting their own tail just to actually become a snake to bite their own tail. Like that was what was going on. Exactly. They wanted to act like exactly. And that's why, what was the word again? That's why there was so many people in the energy of repudiating. That's why there were so many people in the energy of repudiating, because what they were repudiating was that energy right there. Whatever karmic twisted narrative of a false concept that whole thing was. Because it wasn't like people didn't know that God was in control, or as if that God, you know what I mean, could have made Paul the apostle. It's not like Paul didn't have the position of being an apostle. It's not like Jesus didn't come down and then choose Paul to be an apostle. None of that actually occurred. But it had seemed like it was occurring. And it had been seeming like that due to the fact that, well, first of all, Paul had a condition on him. And second of all, that condition had come about in place due to the fact that God was protecting him from the false ideologies of that one word when it came to legitimacy. You see? Because it wasn't a real promise. It wasn't a real reality where people would understand that that word, right? You see what I mean? Had been actually any realer. There wasn't any kind of like reality that was upright, attested for. That's what it is, attestation. Which would have come about by lecturism, right? Where that's how the Lex now got into place, where people were like, oh, okay, that's where the Lex comes from. And then people started, like, those bullies started screaming legitimacy. None of that was real. They might as well have been hysterically doing this. That's a word. Yeah, that's a word. Yeah. Don't you know that word? That's a real word. Like, that could have, that was literally what they might as well have been doing that. People were like, what is that? How do you say that word? Like that? Like, that's how you say it? You got to put your shoulder up and then like that? Like, that's how you say it? Like, I'm not kidding. That's how they made it up. Don't look at me crazy when you know that's exactly how they made it up. Attestation, attestment, Eddie. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, you might look at me now and be like, no way. But if you see it, then you'll be like, what the fuck? Yeah, exactly. To bear witness to and affirm. The actual thing hadn't been attested for. See, formal testimony, certification, the action of bearing witness. Call to witness. See, a formal witnessing. There was no real or formal witnessing when it came to that energy. The whole reality is being like, yeah, there we go. Things are being rendered appropriately. Yeah. Yeah, that energy had been so, like, I don't know how to explain to you how interweaved it had been. But now the radiance, I don't know I'm trying to say it, because it's trying to interweave itself with radiancy, and that's not what's going to happen at all. Yeah, repudiation is being noticed now. Like, those that, remember when Paul was saving all those people and then he was like, why are they not listening? How are they not listening? Like that, like energy of like, why are they? And then they actually were. It was like some sort of involuntarity. They were emitting involuntarity, which was the karma. Yeah, because God actually did give Paul grace. He gave Paul grace, and all those that stood up for Paul, all those that in themselves, in their spirit, right? That's why Paul had that struggle of like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, but in spirit, but why is it not in reality? As above, so below, how come? Like, and then we did struggle with that in reality. It's because the involuntarism was being expressed. That's what happens, Paul. I think he knows that now, right? That's what happens when something is exiting, right? It always looks so awful. It's like, why are they throwing up all in my face? I just gave them medicine. Well, because the medicine is working. Like, that's what happens. You know what I mean? Why are all these evil things being expressed? Well, because something is healing, actually. Something is healing within spirit. Now, let's say the evil things weren't being expressed, right? Outwardly. Then they would have been within. It would have been some type of evil that would have been, I don't know how to explain to you, but the example of it can be seen I feel like there's an example of it so that you can really understand. Like, I know that there must be some sort of example of this, because it's like an internal hell. It's like hell. Yeah. If there's no expression, maybe that is the trick of it all as well. It's like the repudiation was being expressed because it was being eliminated. Yeah, that's it. There's a duality to it. So some individuals express repudiation as a form of expellation, right? And there were others who were assuming character. That's what it is. You know, there's always two sides of it, right? So it's like there were individuals who were repudiating due to the fact of them actually rejecting the Antichrist, right? But then there were individuals who were, there it is, unattested for, right? Or who chose to be unattested for, there it is. And those who chose to be unattested for within Christ, who pretended as if that they were repudiating by externally expressing the repudiation itself, the rejection of that false witness. That's why some of those people were actually being healed and the others were dying, which is what the narcissistic energy had been abusing as to seem attested for themselves already as a prerogatively being attested for, as if that they were the ones that had been in control of it all, as to make people actually, I don't know what that is. I don't know, to falsify unattestation for those people who were then repudiating. You see what I mean? After attestation. So it's like after people had already accepted Christ, after people had already, believed in God, after people were like realizing that Jesus is real, after they realized Paul was telling the truth, after all of that, the narcissist within the situation now utilized that involuntarism, right, of that repudiation, attempting to abuse it as if they had then not been attested for it after all. I mean, we already kind of knew that, right? But why is this coming out now? Because that they are being punished. They're being punished. God is confirming that their punishment is here. Yeah, that their punishment is here. Whereas back then, it might have seemed like rulership, right? So now, rulership in itself is under judgment. So rulership and the entirety of it, rulership, which has to do with, what was it again? There was a word for it. Metronomic. Rulership would be a form of the metronomic experience. I mean, rulers right there, you guys. It says ruler. You know what a ruler is used for? Okay, so I hope you understand what a ruler is used for, you guys. And in case you don't understand what a ruler is, let's do etymology of ruler alone. Ruler. This is why I told you guys to stay in school. Okay? A ruler, right? Look at all this. We'll just say a straight stick. There you go. Rule pattern, okay? Right? To move in a straight line. So measuring instruments, right? They wanted to make it like confused, meaning development. So at first, it's like, I'm telling you, they wanted to confuse the hell out of it, because let me tell you something. Look at it. The modern sense number 1, it said to me, and then modern sense number 2. And then in the actual description of its time, they're giving me that the ruler number 2 that they gave me is actually ruler number 1. That's what it was first. Rector, regime, realm, regal, right? It came from that word, right? And then it went to rule, guide, aka a straight stick rule and law. You understand what a ruler is now? So I mean, it went into the thing that would define its regulation, the instrument that defines its regulation. Now you understand what an instrument really is. It's the metronomic definitor, not diviner, no, definitor. So let's look at a definitor, or word that works like it. So we're gonna look it up. Yeah, that's the actual word, definitor. That's what I thought. One who defines a determiner, definitor. So the ruler defines the metronomics within a situation. The ruler does. But the ruler is also an instrument used by God. You see what I'm saying? It's not under the subject of our, what'd you call it? What is that called again? It's not under the subject of our, what is it called again? See how they're trying to block it? Diplomacy or democracy, exactly. It's not under subject of democracy in human nature. God is the one who realizes the ruler in order to define the metronomic systems in place and being used so that the law is definitive within itself, allowing therefore to be an attestation, proprietorship, and continuance with an ordinance. Not some rando who believes that they got I got the power, who believes that they got the power. So, yeah. They've been cited, denied, rejected, and being obliterated, like as it is. Yeah, exactly. There they are, attempting to make it seem as if that they have rulership. Now, let's really talk about rulership in that sense, right? Not in that sense, that rulership in that form, in the form of rule, right? It has to do with the state or condition of ruling. So it's the parameters that the ruler the condition, hold on one second. It has to do with the environment of ruling. Yeah, the realm of its rule. So when a ruler is brought out, there's a realm that it attests for. That's what it is. That God is attesting, that God is witnessing within that specific moment, that God is rendering. Quite literally. Obviously. I just want to make it like understood that it is obvious that that's what's going on. Now, what that realm is for, how it looks, what it's meant to do, what it's meant for, how it comes to be, what the rule is, and all that jazz is up to God, and we may not know, may never know, really. And we might know, and we will maybe always know. But that the reality of the situation goes to God. So at the end of the day, they don't have power over the creation and the environment of creation when it comes to God. Like, what the hell? Oh, like, sorry, this is getting to me like right now. What the hell's going on? They were attempting to yo, this is like driving me nuts right now. So it's kind of like, what the They were. I just wanna. You know what? Fuck it. I want to show you guys. So this is like, I'm gonna show you guys what was going on. Like, fuck it. I guess I'll be the jest in the situation. Jester, not jest. Sorry, I'll be the jester within the situation. But basically, they were like, I decide where God is born. I decide how God is born and what he does and what he makes. That's what that motherfucker was doing. I shit you not. Like, out of nowhere. Like I don't know what it was that, I don't know what kind of dream or what kind of, like, I don't know what the fuck happened. I don't know what the hell happened. It got scared. It tried to run away. It noticed what the hell was happening and tried to run away. Now it's been destroyed. It's been obliterated. They really became a snake and turned into, like, and ate their own tail. Like, they really tried it. Like, they wanted to, like, I don't know how to explain. It's not only about wanting to. It was like they could not, like, I don't know what to, oh my gosh, I don't know what to tell you guys. I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's a pretty wild thing to do. Like, they didn't even know, like, the names, or, like, this was back before Jesus Christ was born. Like, he had to come down here and set records straight. It was like, in a world, in a time where not everything had been fully rendered yet, someone, something, right, saw something else, and it's like some kind of arrogance, some kind of pride on some shit. Like, it actually might be that, on some sort of arrogance, on some sort of pride. It's like super, like, hysteria. That was like when hysteria had been first noticed, but they didn't realize that it was hysteria. They didn't know what hysteria looked like before that. That's probably what it was. They didn't know what hysteria looked like before that. Now we can really, now we're starting to really notice the effects of hysteria. That's what it is. Yeah, that's what it is. It was like hysteria. Holy shit. I think that's what it was. It was like the beginning of, remember when I said backdoor, Yo, I cannot make this up. They really tried to make it a womb and then tried to, I kid you not, look at it. They literally tried to make it seem like a condition of the womb. I kid you not. I kid you not. I kid you not. They really tried to make it seem that way. It was actually fucking crazy. They're not even trying to explain it. They're not even trying to explain where they got the word from. They're just saying, they're literally lying and saying wandering womb. They're literally, I can't make it up. What were they on? What were they on? That's the devil, bruh. That's when they were seeing devils, bro. They were seeing devils. They were seeing devils, bro, and they were trying to call it a womb. My goodness. I don't know what the fuck kind of drug they were on. I don't know who gave them that. That's probably what it was. That's probably what it was. That's probably what it was. Holy shit. It's probably them Adam and Eve time where someone took a wrong type of shroom. I don't know what to tell you. Someone took the wrong kind of shroom. Someone that was inherited into something, an apprentice of somewhere, and then going upwards, the ladder, and someone was like, hey, I got this new thing, right? Like on some iZombie, like, yeah, there's a new drug in town. Like, and then they started seeing all sorts of craziness, all sorts of crazy ass shit. And then they were like, because they were positioned, they were like, you know something? I think that we can start talking about, like, oh my god. I don't even know whether they should be obliterated or not, because at this point, I feel sorry for them. Like, I don't know what to tell y'all. Like, maybe I shouldn't. Like, maybe I shouldn't in this situation because, like, they caused a lot of shit, man. But what went down was really, I feel like, not in their control in any way. Like, it really wasn't. Maybe they wanted to make people believe that it was for the longest time. No wonder there's so much humiliation. Like, they really should be punished. Like, I think that's not should be, but I think that God is really punishing them, but not for what they really think it is at all. I think there's more to it than it is. Yeah, like, fuck that. No wonder it's been coming. I've been like, please, God, thank you for destroying that devil. Wow. It's like it's all a storybook now. It's all a fairy tale. Like, all seems like a fairy tale now. Fuchsia, what's up? It all seems like a fairy tale now. Like, even if I'm saying what's up to my cat, like, I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? Don't be mad at me, Fuchsia. So basically, there's just a lot going on right now in this world. But basically, it's like, I don't know what to tell you guys. Like, I don't know how we went from the bad shrew mentality stuff to them, because that's how it went. It didn't go from them believing that there was, like, as if that they were God in a situation, right? Or as if that they could act as if that they knew how God acts, as if. But it was like, it was specifically, it started off with them seeing things and then enacting the hysteria from seeing that, and then forcing it upon others to behave in that method and way. It was actually wild, bro. But anyways, let's continue. Many believe that women's illnesses were caused by wandering womb hystericos, meaning womb. That's fucking insane, bro. We're just gonna have to remove that. Disease of the womb, wild emotion. You see what I'm talking about? For how long has that been a thing? For how long has that been a real thing where people would really, like, that's where, didn't I say it was some crazy ass shit? I told you it was some crazy ass shit. They literally, from 5th BCE, this was before they started using the word legitimate. Fuchsia, no. They were like, yeah, like, yeah, women's wombs, that's what causes craziness. That, bro, it affects everyone. It's because they have a womb, bro. It's crazy. Some crazy ass shit, bro. Bro, I promise, bro, it's legit. It's legit. It's legit. Like, people were like, what? That's a real thing? Look, passionate about it. I kid you not. That's exactly what it, like, that's what went down. Are you for real? The whole situation, like, look how she's acting. Is that a human woman? Is that a human woman? Huh? They can't tell. They can't tell. I shit you not. They can't tell the difference. They don't know. They're seeing things. Oh my gosh. Yeah, oh my gosh. Yeah, like, they thought that they were, yeah, an apprentice. That's what it is. They thought that they were an apprentice. Yeah, they thought that they were a real apprentice. Man, this is real disappointing for some people. That's probably what it was. Yeah, a lot of glory is going to God right now for like all of everything. Honestly, God deserves all the glory. Like, so let's just keep going forward. Let me fix this situation up real quick. Because I wonder why it would, like, make my eye twitch when in Russian, because, like, in Russian language they would just call you isterichka. But it was so annoying because what the fuck is that word, man? Like, I would really, like, get pissed off, like, IRL. Like, ain't no way you're using that word on me. Like, I'm gonna get pissed. Like, I get pissed. Like, it gets me so mad. Like, that might have been the word for woman. It might have just been the word for woman. Shit. Yeah, hysteria. I'm not even fucking kidding. Yeah, all of it only came afterwards. Like all of it came afterwards. The word isn't even being used in China until now, bro. Not until now, but until the last century. That they only really started talking about it after Western psychiatric texts in the 20th century too. Like this shit is crazy, bro. And they didn't even have a word in. Oh my god, bro! It's not even existent. It's not even existent. Like they literally just used the word, like they literally just said aestheticos. Like that's the word aestheticos. We're just gonna say aestheticos and we're blaming it on the womb, the uterus. You're like hystericos. What does that mean? Like imagine you're back there like hystericos. What does that mean? Like hystericos, like where did you come from that word? I mean it's a womb. It's a uterus. Like bro. What the fuck? It didn't even make sense. It didn't even make sense. That's probably what they used to try and hide the wisdom of oh shit. I'm about to do it, bro. That's probably why there was so much war. Exactly. So all the languages borrowed from that bullshit. They borrowed from that bullshit except for Gaelic. Like I thought, Ireland. They were the ones that didn't fucking use that dumbass word because they knew the wisdom of the womb. They were the ones with the wisdom of the womb. They didn't do anything about it. Like, look at it. Coined as a medical diagnosis in the European psychiatry. They wanted to abuse all of that. But the word, yeah, there is the motherfucker. I found it, bro. Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, they're being dragged. They're being dragged. Look at it. Look at them. Caught. So the word for it actually came from, look at it, famous in Bual Shibune, some sort of story. He's out of his mind. Foolishness. That's what I'm saying. So The oh my goodness, the word is, even in Scotland they have it. Scottish, look. Meyer Buil Amaideacht Kuta Fuchsia. What the hell? No. Sorry, give me a second. You see what see what I'm saying? Yeah, sorry about that. But what you call it? That's what I'm saying there. She started eating a wire, like she never does that. Like that's what I'm trying to say. It's like she would get zapped. Like it's fucking crazy. Like that's what I'm saying. That's the presence of that fucking energy right now that it can't get in my frequency. Look, madness, frenzy, old Irish, right? Mire, madness, folly. So related to Mayrasach. So Meyer Asach Eddie. So relentless, restless, uneasy. That's what I was talking about earlier and like way back when. So we're gonna look at the frenzy of Sweeney. Mairesach. So um unreasonable, irrational, excitable, and easy, frenzied, flighty, hysterical, not reasonable, unreasonable, excitable. So they were probably going around causing issues, trying to force involuntarism on people. They were attempting to put a false doctrine of involuntarism on individuals, on people. That was their whole thing. Bro, I'm telling you that it made no sense. Like something was so wrong that it literally made its own word. So it's not something that can be calculated type stuff. So in Greece, there you go. They started off type shit in Greece. Let me do this real quick. Let me see where the hell this came from. Odin, master of frenzy and possession. I can't make it up. This goes way back, huh? I'm telling you. Sanskrit came up. Madness, derangement, uprising of the mind. Like literally. And then Deuteronomy 1 Samuel, they're pissing me off, bro. They're pissing me off. Do you see what I'm talking about now? Like, they keep on trying to break apart that. Finally, holy crap. Like, oh my gosh. It was doing whatever the fuck it wanted. Like, it was so irritating, man. It was so irritating. So basically, Yeah, exactly. Where the fuck did the word like? Oh my goodness, they literally made no sense. Like udero. That's where the word was. That's udero. That's udero. Like, and then you got the rule straight, right? Like you got the rule right there. What is it? Ruler. You need a ruler to make a rule. You see what I'm saying? You can't have a. You see what I'm talking about, bruh? You see? That's why they wanted to make like, oh my gosh, bro. It's like they were like, didn't I tell you that they really wanted to make it seem as if that they were God? Like, so I'm sure now I know for a fact that people knew God before the BCEs. They knew how God worked. They knew how things were. They knew how things came to be. They knew how it was. And then motherfucker, look, devil energy. Motherfucker really tried to come about with some crazy ass method. That's the thing. That's what it was that God was probably gifting his children at the time. Methodism. So let's look up that. Don't worry, I'll get back to this energy. But let's look up Methodism. Because there's a lot going on there. So you got Methodist mode of proceeding system, pursuit following after ways system. So meaning of development, you got fourth be yeah. Oh my gosh, bro. I can't make this up. I can't make this up. So you have the 5,000 BCE, right? Where people did not know how to master Methodism because it had just arrived. Then you had people the individuals who did not receive Methodism, they did not receive grace, right? So they attempted to mimic and copy what grace was. That's it. Because not so make it because the Methodist Church, I'm just realizing that one of the church names was Methodist, right? This is what you see, because people always want me to just jump 144 literally. Yup, major Christian denomination. Oh my goodness. Salvation is by grace through faith, available to all and not just the elect. Period. That's what I'm trying to say. They wanted to act like they were the ones that could elect. Thank you, God, for John Wesley, because I was struggling a little bit here with trying to find that word elect. That's because I was like, by democracy. Look what the hell I had to go through to figure out that same word, elect. They wanted to falsify preachings of electicism. That's what it is. They wanted to falsify preachings of eclecticism. Eclecticism. That's not what the fuck I'm asking. Oh my gosh, bro. Shit, this is me off, bro. Electism. Electism. Or electment. I don't fucking know. Election. Electicism. Election. No, it's not about election. It's about like electicism, something like that. There's the lect. Remember I was telling you about the lex? There it is. Right there, elect. I can't make it up. That's just how it works. So, electability. There it is. They wanted to act as if that they had been attempting to force individuals to make themselves be the prerogative behind. You see how they're trying to hide it now? They're trying to do electorism. Like they're like, no, like that's what I'm trying to say. Electorism, electability, Mike. Oh, electability, Eddie. Yup, that's the one. They had been projecting on individuals false prerogative on electability. Yup. Yup, false prerogative on electability. Electability means the condition of being fit to be chosen or elected. Exactly. Attempting to make it like a thing where as if that they could, you know what I mean? Like they what oh my gosh, attempting to confuse discriminate to confuse people to cause discrimination, to falsify ordinance so that there could be an assumed favoritism. That's why the whole Luciferian satanic energy had come through before. Why I said pride and all of that. That's like, that was the whole, that was the shenanigan of the whole situation. So to put it down clearly, right? They thought they had power and prerogative over electability. Yeah, that's it. They had, even if it's like, I don't know how to explain this, but they thought they had it. They thought they had it because it was all in the mind. They thought they had it. Thought they had it through accusing stimuli in the external, like external stimuli. That's basically it. I don't know how else to explain it. Yeah, that's it. Yup. 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 Yeah, glory is now free. Unconditionality is now with God. Because they really were forcing involuntarism on people. So that it would appear as if that they were attempting to project involuntarism to make it appear as electability. Let me do this. Involuntarability, we'll say involuntary. They don't want me to figure it out, bro. Okay, involuntariness. So that's what it is. They were projecting involuntariness to make people, no, to make their own choices as apparently, see, they were projecting their own involuntariness to make their own choices as if with reason and uprightness, forcing a view of themselves as electable prerogatively. That's what it is. They were projecting involuntariness to make their own choices as if with reason and uprightness, forcing a view of themselves as electable prerogatively. Okay, that's fine then. This thing is trying to fight with me. So they were projecting involuntariness to make their own choices as if with reason and uprightness, forcing a view of themselves as electable prerogatively. There you go. So within that, what does that sentence mean to the ones making that choice, to those around them, and the theoretical psychological effects of them, of those actions to others, themselves, and what is it called again? General society. And let's add how it could affect different class systems and if they had been in each system of class. So there's a general consensus of the whole. So here, I just want to make it sure. They're projecting involuntariness to make their own choices as if with reason and uprightness, forcing a view of themselves as electable and prerogatively. Meaning of one's making the choice. They pretend passivity, projecting involuntariness. So pretend passivity. They pretend passivity to appear as those circumstances force them, right? Yet they still make active choices, cloaking them in the language of reason and uprightness. They then frame themselves as electable, presenting their choices as arising from privilege, authority, or special right. The psychological effect on themselves is cognitive dissonance, convincing themselves that they are both victims of the circumstance and righteous. Reinforcement of entitlement, there it is, feeling justified in wielding authority, meaning for those around them. Outsiders see a manipulation of perception. I didn't really have a choice, masks self-interest. My actions are rational, upright, signs moral superiority. Therefore, I deserve authority, positions themselves as leaders. Reactions from others. Skepticisms may see through the facade. Resentment. Others may feel their own choices or freedoms are undermined. Compliance. Some may accept the claim of prerogative and defer. Theoretical psychological effects on others. Confusion and pressure. There it is. If someone presents self-interest as forced inevitability, others may feel trapped into accepting it. Resentment. People may feel manipulated, especially if they see through the projection. There it is. Admiration and obedience, right? There it is. If they accept the illusion, they may legitimize, there it is. There it is. Legitimize that person as a natural order. There you go. On themselves, inflated self-concept. Believing their own projection strengthens entitlement. See all the confusion now? You see all of the confusion now? Disconnecting from accountability, framing all actions as involuntary excuses them from blame. On society, norm distortion. When leaders or figures act this way, it sets a model, a false one. Success is gained by manipulation, not honesty, right? Told you, just like communism. Just like communism, just like alchemy, right? You think one thing is going to happen the way you think it's going to happen, and then what happens? Right? Norm distortion. When leaders or figures act this way, it sets a model. Success and is gained by manipulation, not honesty. And then legitimacy crises, and this is where I'm gonna fix it up, okay? Because it is an AI, right? So undermines authentic meritocracy, right? Which would have to come from what? The Methodism through what? Rulership of, what was it called again? Metronomics, right? So meritocracy, which would have to come by metronomics, right? You see the abuse? People distrust authority, right? So it's right there. It's right there, and people feel like they have to mistrust authority. You see? Polarization. Some buy into the prerogative, others resist. Class, faction, or political division. Class system impacts. If we imagine this behavior inside different class structures, so upper elite classes, projection of involuntariness could read as burden of leadership, right? You see what I was talking about now, where it felt like as if the narcissist felt so burdened. They feel so burdened with all the leadership that they have to take. Right? It's just so hard, right? There it is. You see what I'm saying? They appear noble. I didn't choose this power. The power chose me. There you go. You see what I'm saying? Society might accept it as a divine right, prerogative of birth. You see what I'm saying? Middle class could look manipulative, appear reluctant to gain sympathy, but still angling for power. I couldn't make it up, right? Appearing as reluctant to gain sympathy, like, I don't really want to have this. Like, I don't really want to, but it is what it is. I gotta do what I gotta do. Those projections now off of me. Get the fuck away from me, right? Middle class peers may see it as an opportunism disguised as moral responsibility. You feel like you have to write, but really, right? I gotta quit this job because you see what I'm saying? So that's being fucking thrown out the window, right? What'd you call it? Lower class or working class energy, right? Projection highly seen as hypocrisy, those with more power claiming to be forced into a choice, right? Could fuel resentment. They pretend they had no choice while we truly don't. But that's the energy. That's them. That's in the same energy, right? They pretend they have no choice while we truly don't. We're the ones who don't have the power. We're the ones who are low down and dirty. This is why Paul had that struggle. You see what I'm talking about now? They're the ones making all the rules and the laws, and they think that they can do whatever they want to us, and now we're the ones with no power. We're the ones suffering. We're the ones suffering. You see the false shit, bruh? So so I'm saying outcast, there's an extra one, marginalized. Some projections may not even be possible. Society denies them the prerogative to be electable, right? So now, with some of us, we don't even get a choice. Like, why are you even talking? Right? Here I am, right? You may come up as delusion or dismiss outright, like, hey, can I get to be in the political class? Can I maybe get to, maybe be a part of, like, the Constitution, or maybe even write on the Constitution? Maybe I need to sign the Constitution. Maybe my people need to sign the Constitution too. Maybe that's important for the benefacting of the United States of America. You know, what if more people could sign up for the Constitution and sign into the Constitution, Second Amendment right, First Amendment right? What if we believe in it too? What if we believe in it too? Right? They're like, we're that. How dare you? How dare, like, type shit. And now it's like, wait. It's so obvious, isn't it? Remember when I told you guys it's so obvious? You wouldn't expect me to be a part of the marginalized group now, would you? Anyways, the general theory in the line. The sentence describes a psychological strategy of legitimization, right? High choice behind inevitability, justify action with borrowed reason and virtue, claim authority as prerogative. Look at that strategy. Bang, 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 bang. We're just gonna do this, guys. This is our war tactic. This is how we're gonna win them over psychologically. We're gonna do this and we're gonna win this war psychologically, guys. Psychologically, we're gonna make up a word and we're gonna make sure that we blame it on the women. Women, bam! You're gonna be the reason why this happened. You're gonna be blamed for all this and you have to take it. We're not suicide bombers, it's the Muslims. Can you imagine? No, that's not utilizing women as terrorists for your own hysteria at all. Not at all. We're not exercising the entity or anything like that. In other words, it's a microdrama of how power sustains itself, or powers sustain itself. And you know the first rule of destroying a narcissist. Separate yourself from them if you're the supply. And so the narcissist has no more supply. What are they going to do without some sort of false strategy of a false word? The word isn't real. There's no real thing that should be coming out of that at all. By the way, the Empress at the bottom of the deck. Because, yeah, can't fake it. Can't falsify it. So, what do you call it? Absolution is what they wanted to copy. That's what the grace that God gave. Absolution, Eddie. That's what it is that they were trying to copy. Absolution. Which, you know, absolve, to loosen, release, acquit, finish. Yeah, didn't I mention that earlier? To loosen from, free, acquit, complete. Acquittal, remission of sins. Yep. Some people were forgiven and others hadn't been. And so it wasn't like everyone was acquitted, right? So, and you know what's crazy? It came into development 1st century BCE. It literally came through right afterwards. So they attempted to commit a sin, do all those sins and stuff like that, because they attempted to, you know, I mean, they were doing all that jazz. Then some of them, like some people realized, like, what if this is all a test? Like, some of them were like, what if this is all a test and we really shouldn't have done that, right? So some of them decided to now figure out a way out of it, gave it all to God, and God accepted it. You know what I mean? And that's how they wanted to now copy the acceptance from God, because they were resentful already. It was too late. It was too late. Resentment was already there, right? So, yeah, exactly. Resentment was already there when the pre-dynastic Egypt, or like let's say, no, actually early dynastic period, right, was there, right, during 3000 3150 to 2686 BCE. So this was after they fucked up. Right? After they fucked up, right? Because it was 5000 BCE, right? Not that Egypt wasn't there. Egypt was forming in 6000 BCE. So this was already like we were already like all we were focused on was doing the hard labor. There was also burial customs and proto writing pottery. You see what I'm saying? So God was already fixing up the timeline. God was already fixing up the timeline because he's the one who saw it coming. He's the one with the first. He's the prerogative of the situation. And so they really try to play him on some shit. And then there was a whole separate dynasty that started happening. You see what I'm saying? Isn't that funny how that happened? You see what I'm talking about? Oh my gosh, I can't make it up. It's like an experiment, but not an experiment based off of like human beings or a human experiment, but more so the land experiment. It's like, what if we put people on this land and then, like, you know what I mean, let them grow here? What's gonna happen after so and so amount, like 1,000 years? So after every 1,000 years, there would be this huge test, right? And then it would be like it was always the same kind of test. It was always the same kind of test. But the reality of the situation was that at first it seemed like, you know what I mean? And not at first, because Lucifer fell like almost immediately type stuff, right? So it was like that. It was like the test was there first. And then the same failure had been being caught on earth. But then the succession always was different when it came to everyone else. It was always a different thing. It's like a test that you can't really fail kind of energy. That's why there's so much acquittance and forgiveness, right? Which is why Jesus had to come down and be like, oh, you guys, you know what I mean? I forgive you guys, like, calm down, right? Where the reality was that there were only specific individuals, specific energies that had already been failed, like they had failed. It was weird. But let's keep going, you guys, because it's almost over. Yeah, there it is, the drama. And yep, the false source of it, I don't know what it is called, like the culprit, or should I don't even know if you could say culprit, the conspirer of the drama, yeah, the conspirer or some like that of the drama itself was a king of pentacles energy, someone that's extremely greedy, right? They were trying to like come up, right? But they were extremely greedy for like a cloak, or I don't know, a key of some sort. Yeah, they were extremely greedy for some sort of key or jinn, or they were obsessed. That's what it is, because the devil, right? They must have took something and started seeing fractions of themselves around around, and then it became an obsession to I think it's like to figure out where the idea that he was obsessed with actually came from. I don't know, or something like that. Yeah, and that's how they got to the womb energy, which has to do with conceptualism. I'm not really sure. So let's get back to that word. So we're back to the thing. I am so done. I just realized that I put a whole different word there. As I was covering my eyes, wiping my eyes and stuff like that, I realized I put a whole different word there. I put hypocrite on there. Oh, using the Hippocratic. Oh, okay. And Gaelic medicine. Okay, that's where it came from. So, so we have you know what it looks like? It looks like utera. Udera. Yeah, remember I said udero. Okay, udera. That's what it is. Udero. Udera. Itera. It's not pronounced hysteria. It sounds like utera. Mm, that doesn't look like a. That doesn't look like it. It looks like the utera. It looks like utera, and that's exactly how it was written again. Udero. Udero. I don't know where they're getting the STE from. So upsilon sigma. Upsilon sigma tau epsilon alpha rho alpha. Yeah, I pretty much figured that one was fucking irritating as hell. Like I said, Stefanos. Oh my god. Like I'm so done. So done. Sigma. Why did I not see it that way? Where did it go from sigma to delta from? Exactly. That shit make no fucking sense though. Stat comes from sigma, tau, and epsilon. That's STE. That's bro. Bro. Exactly. Lowercase is oh my gosh. Are they playing with me right now? Are they playing with me? It's the same. What's going on? What's going on? So we have epsilon, sigma. Okay. Let's just say it's ustera. Let's just say it's ustera. Fine. We got ustera here, right? And then what'd you call it? So yeah, because that looks like what it is. So we got ustera. You know what it is? It was a rapist. Wasn't it? My God. I'm telling you for real. Like, I'm literally saying, look, I'm like, hysteria comes from Uster, but in Gaelic, what word could mean hysteria? Like, what is hysteria in Gaelic? What's the translation? They're like, I see what you're asking. You want to bridge Greek hysteria, womb, into, like, no. I literally said no. They gave me a huge ass motherfucking thing. I said no, and it was like, oh, it means Maya beauty. I kid you not. Like, this is like, it's playing games with me type shit. Okay, we've tapped it in. Look at it. To change, to go astray, to be confused, folly, strange, wonderfully, originally out of the ordinary. See? Out of the ordinary. Smile and smirk may shade distant rooms connotations as strangeness and oddness. There you go. Smile and smirk, sharing a distant root's connotation of strangeness and oddness from Myris energy, out of the ordinary. It's like when something is going on, a friend, and then a violence, frenzy, madness, violent rage. Something is going on. And then, look, bellows back, something swollen in the air. To be angry, belly swollen and belch, right? Swelling, blowing up, violent emotional eruption. So it was like irrational astray. I swear it's giving rape. It's like someone came through, it's them, in some sort of craziness with a whole bunch of women that they thought that they could abuse. And then as they were laughing and smiling at them, and that was seen as out of the ordinary, and that they were mad and foolish and crazy. You know what? Let's read this story. What's the summary of the frenzy of Sweeney? Obviously, I'm going to read it by myself, but I think I'm going to have to cancel my plans for today because fuck, this is way more important. Frenzy of the frenzy Sweeney. The frenzy, there it is. The summary of the frenzy of Sweeney. Bush, because it definitely holds some sort of. Remember, I said something was mythical. Irish literature. Who's? I didn't ask. That's not what I asked. It's still going, bro. This is why it's pissing me off, bro. Okay, Sweeney, an Irish king, insults a saint and is cursed. He goes mad during a battle, runs naked into wilderness, and wanders Ireland living like a bird. He composes sad poems about exile and nature. In the end, he dies a violent death as the curse foretold. Does that explain it? He's described as king of Dal Araidi, small kingdom in Ulster. Northern Ireland appears mixes history, myth, and Christian. I didn't ask for any of that, bro. There was a historical named Subhine McColmain. That's not it. The Mad Wandering in the Tree. I didn't fucking ask for any of that, bro. Okay, so text doesn't give a portrait. Okay, then that's it then. The fuck? Like, I swear, this shit pisses me off. It literally makes up whatever it feels like you would want. Like, literally, it pisses me off. So, the saint in question is Saint Ronan Finn, Ronan the Fair, Ronan Finn Fair. So that's our key, fair. Ronan Finn Macberag was early Christian. I didn't fucking ask for all this. Oh my gosh. Like, this is pissing me off, bro. Okay. Saint Ronan Finn, Ronan the Fair. What was he known for? He was known for church building, preaching, and holy living in 7th century Ireland. This reminds me of that one joke where someone said it's a funny German joke. It's an ancient German joke where it's like, did you see all the churches I built? Did you see all the walls I built? They don't call me the wall builder. They don't call me the church builder. But like type of they fuck one pig type shit, and now they call him dot dot dot, right? So I think it's something along the lines of that, maybe. Or maybe that's just a distraction. So church building, preaching, and holy living in the 7th century. 7th century. What the history and the lore of the saint? He was a 7th century Irish Christian saint, remembered mainly in Ulster. His lore tells of him being a missionary, a miracle worker. He became the most. Holy shit, bro! I swear. I don't know why they're telling me all this bullshit for. I was like, maybe it's a distraction even. He's a holy man who built a church, is insulted and attacked, and responds with a fuck it. Let's read this book. Man, I'll see you guys in a little bit because this shit, it's like I can't. Like you can't do shit with this energy. Like impossible. It is impossible. There we go. It's a romance. I didn't even see that coming. I was just asking for a romance book. Wow, that's the cover. Dang, I should get this book. This is a good book. It looks crazy. Oh my gosh, that looks beautiful. Okay, Adventures of Supna Gate. I might have to listen to the audio of it. There are 198 pages. You're playing with me. Let me make sure. I need to call the library. I knew I would have, see, I knew I needed to go to the library for something. This is a lot. This is a lot. No wonder I was getting so pissed because it wants to give me the table of motherfucking contents in this bitch when I know what I do when I read, and it's definitely not do all of that first. Yeah, a lot of this shit is going on. Look at this. In the monastery of St. Paul in Corinthia. I couldn't even make it up. I couldn't even make it up. I literally couldn't even make it up, bro. St. Paul. Oh my goodness, bro. They're like giving so much lore before all of this to like, you know what? I just want the beginning. How many pages in do I have to go for? Holy shit. 42 pages in of fuck shit lore. I mean, I get it. I'm gonna read that wholeheartedly. But I'm not gonna read that before I read the actual book. Like, that's crazy. I can't stand it when they always try to prelude like the context of a book before the actual book. Like, don't try and fucking recontextualize me so that I'm refamiliarized with a book that I haven't had read yet. That shit pisses me off. I'll find out the context of it through the book, thank you very much. We're not as stupid as you are. Okay? My gosh. Let me find out it's not even English. Okay, thank you, God. God, I was like about to say, like, okay. Because even the main book itself, like, whatever. You know, this is why I haven't read in a long time. I haven't read in a long time because of this. As the subhuman son of Coleman, king of attacks of the devil against vices that were gentle, friendly, active man. That was that gentle, friendly, active man. So each page is retranslated. Dang, that's actually really good. That's a really good app book. Hold up. There's even a poem right there. And it makes so much sense. Like they didn't have to like falsify a whole like 42 pages before it. That was insane. And I know I'm not tripping because it like literally gives me the title of the book 45 pages in. I was like, no way. There's 280 pages in this book. And half of those pages, let's move 45 pages in that book, right? Now there's 35 pages, 235 pages in the book. Divide 335 pages by 2, right? Then you have, what'd you call it? I'm terrible at this kind of math, but give me a second, you guys. Here. So you have 245 divided. I don't know why I'm speaking German right now. Do then. Okay, divided by 2. I was actually really curious. So it must have been a lot. What did I say? 300 and what did I even say? What did I even say? 232, 34. I don't know what I had said, but it was, I meant to say 235. Is that what I wrote? Probably not. Yeah, I didn't write that. 235, 235 divided by 2. So that's the same energy that's here right now that I'm overcoming at the moment. Because whatever it is they think they're going to get is weird. That's probably why that's happening. Yeah, burden being released in a situation. Yeah, because they're being defeated now. That's pretty wild. I didn't think this was going to happen. 117.5. 117.5. So 100, almost 188 pages, 118. See what I'm saying? 100, 233, 25 on there. So 118 pages of actual script, which is not bad. I can see you guys next time. Okay, I'll see you guys in a little bit after I finish reading this book. Because honestly, this is some long cycle that had been meant to be closed a long time ago. Yeah, this is something that like a lot of people were looking forward to receiving rewards for a long time ago. I mean, that makes sense because this is the golden age, right? So, yeah. Okay, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.